today for 60 minutes. So we're going to start with our legs crossed, nice and tall through the spine. We'll bring our arms down to our side, tuck chin and chest, and just roll down through your spine, allowing the weight of your head to take you down. So you feel a nice gentle stretch in your spine. And then on your next inhale, let's restack all the way back up. So just gently moving the spine today. And again, tucking chin and chest, rolling down. Again, just letting the weight of your head take you over. And then restacking all the way back up. I'm going to turn to the side. We're going to do that 2 more times. And last time. Nice stretch, restacking back up. We're going to take our hands behind us. Fingertips can face away. Pull the shoulders back and gently lift your heart to the ceiling. Try not to crunch your neck back. So think about just tipping your chin back slightly, and then we'll relax the front of the chest down. And then again, lift up, inhale. And then front of the ribs and the heart relax down. Let's do that 2 more times. We're just taking our spine into a gentle stretch. You might even feel a little stretch on your forearms. 1 more. Very nice. So again, just moving our spine today. So let's go into some lateral flexion. We're going to take the right arm up and over. Make sure the right hip doesn't come up. You want to anchor it down to the floor. And coming all the way back up, left arm up and over. Shoulder down, try not to break your elbows. Really lengthen through the whole arm. Coming back up, let's do that 1 more time each way. Inhale and exhale. Coming up, and then last time, inhale and exhale. And coming back to center. Now keeping let's do the right leg in front, in case you have the other leg in front. I don't know if I specified at the beginning. And we're going to take a hip stretch for the back of our right hip. So sliding the arms along the floor, start to lengthen the tailbone away from the crown of your head. You can just rest on your forearms. Try to lift your back, lift your sit bones, and you'll start to feel this really nice stretch in the back of the right hip. We're going to hold this for 3 deep breaths in and out. On your last exhale, let's go ahead and round the spine, dropping the head to the floor. We're going to restack all the way back up against our imaginary wall. Chin is the last thing to lift. Turn the right leg around the other way. We're going to stretch over the leg. And then come down onto your left hand, push the hips up and forward, and reach up and over to your left. Hips go back and down gently 3 more times. Inhale. And exhale. So a little bigger stretch. We're still getting that side body stretch, but we're letting the hips also open. So you'll feel that hip flexor stretch through your right hip. 1 more. And back and down. Turning the right leg around the other way, left leg in front. We're going to start from the top, arms out in front, and just allow the spine to drop down towards the floor. Flattening your back as best you can. You can stay up on the forearms. 3 deep breaths in and out as we hold that stretch for the back of the left hip. And then allowing the head to be heavy, let's restack on our last exhale, nice and slow. So again, we're getting that stretch through our spine. Chin is the last thing to lift. Go ahead and turn your left leg around the other way. We'll stretch over the legs. And coming onto the right hand, let's push the hips up and forward. Big stretch up and over. Gently placing the hips back and down. So again, we're stretching the left side body. Because we're pushing the hips forward, we're getting that opening through the hip joint. 2 more times. And one more. And we're going to go ahead and turn this leg around. Let's face our mat lengthwise. And let's start with some breathing today in flexion, spinal flexion. So feet can be flat on the mat, or you can have the feet flexed, whatever feels best for you. Try to find the sharpest points of your sits bones. You can let your hands rest on your shins. Tuck chin and chest, and again, let's imagine peeling our spine off of a wall. So we end up rounding over the thighs. You can imagine a ball between the thighs and the chest, so you're kind of rounding up and over that ball. Knees still hip width apart. We're going to take some deep breaths in through the nose and exhale through slightly pursed lips. So just getting right into our Pilates breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through slightly pursed lips. Now as we continue to breathe, I want you to focus on feeling the back part of your rib cage open as you inhale. And as you exhale, feel how the ribs naturally draw down and together. 2 more times, inhaling, back of the ribs open and expand. And exhale, ribs draw down and together. 1 more time, inhale. And exhale. On our next inhale, let's restack our spine all the way back up against our imaginary wall. And we're going to take the arms out in front, scoop to the back of the sit bones, and see if you can roll down slowly onto the mat. If you need help, you can grab the backs of your legs to help you. And once your head touches, we're going to bend our knees, place our feet close to our bottom, and arms to the side of the body. Let's just do a quick check-in with all of our Pilates principles quickly. So we already have our breath going, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Moving from the breath to our shoulder blades, you want to feel the shoulders gently pressing back against the mat so they feel like they're flat against the floor or against your back. We want to make sure our head also is, we're looking straight up, we're not looking up or down. So we have a little space open between the back of our neck. So our neck is in neutral, shoulder blades in neutral, and then bringing our awareness to our rib cage, making sure the ribs feel like they're kind of melting down towards our hip bones. So you feel the back part of your rib cage come in contact with the floor. Moving your awareness down to your pelvis. You want to be in neutral, so if you imagine a little teacup balanced right on your pelvis, it's going to stay still and balanced. It's not tipping towards your way or side to side. Knees and feet hip width apart, so if you made a fist, put it between your feet and your knees. That's a very fast way to judge hip width. So let's go ahead and do our inhale again, feeling the back of the ribs expand. So as we're on the floor, you'll feel your ribs press against the mat. And on your exhale, just feel how the ribs naturally draw down and together. Let's do that 1 more time. Inhaling, back of the ribs expand. It's almost as if they're pressing into the floor more. And then exhale. Very nice. So just nice rib cage breathing. That's what we want in Pilates, so that we can keep our core engaged. So let's engage our core. We're going to think about pulling the hip bones together in the front of the pelvis and also the sits bones together at the base of the pelvis. And take an inhale through your nose and just gently force out your exhale. When you do that, you'll feel this area tighten, like you're being wrapped by a corset or imaginary saran wrap. Add a gentle lift in the pelvic floor. We're going to try to hold that braced feeling through the core, and let's breathe again, inhaling through the nose, feeling the back of the ribs expand, and exhaling through slightly pursed lips. 1 more time there. So we're consciously and actively engaging our core. Go ahead and relax real quick. We're going to do a little bit of leg movement, separating the movement from any movement in our body, in our pelvis. So deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling through slightly pursed lips, feel your core contract. Keep that. On your inhale, slide your right leg straight without moving the pelvis. Exhale, pull it back in. We're going to alternate sides. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, pull it in. So again, disassociating that movement from our legs, from our pelvis. So no movement in the pelvis because we're holding onto our core. Our core is engaged. And you're reaching out one leg at a time. So really focus on stretching that leg, again, without moving the body, the torso, and pelvis. One more time on the left. We're going to keep our core engaged and gently start to do little marches with your feet. You want to resist, again, any movement in the pelvis. We're going to slow our marches down and slowly start to make them a little bigger until eventually you're pulling your knees right over your hip joint. So you're pulling them right into tabletop. Again, no movement in the pelvis. We're keeping our teacup balanced. One more on the left, and then we're going to add straightening the leg. So right leg comes up, reach the right leg out like you're hitting a bullseye with your toes. Pull the knee back in, place your foot back down. Left side comes up, we reach it out, hit that bullseye, pull it in, place it down. The breathing is an exhale to lift. Inhale as you stretch and lengthen. Exhale as you bring your knee in. Inhale as you put it down. So again, we're in our Pilates breathing. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Let's do that one more time each way, right and then left. And this should just feel really good. It's simple but effective. It's getting our legs warmed up. So we're going to go ahead and go into our second pelvic placement, which is imprint. So tip that imaginary teacup towards your belly button so you feel your low spine make an imprint on the mat beneath you. We're going to keep our whole spine on the mat. Bring one leg to tabletop and then the other. And right when you lift that second leg, you're going to feel more work in your core and more work in your hip flexors. Now make sure your knees aren't towards your chest like that. We want our knees over our hip joint. You will feel the difference in your core. It's a lot harder for your core to have your knees here. We're going to go into a couple ab preps with our legs in tabletop. So keeping the knees right over the hips, draw the chin down slightly, and then allow the head and shoulders to lift up as we engage the upper part of the abs. The arms will come slightly up in front of you, reach through the fingertips, and then keeping your imprint and keeping your legs still, we're going to lower back down. Let's do that again. Tuck chin to chest, and then use the upper abs to lift the head and the shoulders off the mat. Reach through your fingertips like you're reaching to the bottom corners of your mat, and then lower all the way back down. Hold your imprint. Let's do that again. Tuck chin and chest. So in this position, we're concentrically contracting our abs. And then as we lower down, we're eccentrically contracting. So they're lengthening but working. Let's do it again. Exhale, curling up. And I always think that the hardest part is when you're eccentrically contracting. So your abs are lengthening as they're working, and you're trying to keep your imprint. 2 more times. One more. Really feel your belly pull down on that last one. And rest. Woo, just allow your pelvis to go back to neutral to release the stretch through your low spine. Very nice, everybody. We're going to go ahead and bring the legs back to tabletop in imprint. Keeping the head and shoulders on the mat, we're going to send the right leg out. Imagine hitting a bullseye with your toes, keeping your imprint, and then we're going to switch. Let's inhale, switch. Exhale, switch. And you're only going to go as low as you can keep your low spine on the mat. Head and shoulders are on the mat. Upper mid-back is on the mat. We're gonna add our ab prep, so tuck chin and chest. Start to curl up into your ab prep, and let's go for another 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. We're gonna pull both legs to tabletop. Keep your imprint lower back down. And then we'll rest our feet on the mat and go to neutral to give our abdominals a little break. Let's bring our feet closer to our body. We're gonna do some shoulder bridges. So taking an inhale to prepare. On your exhale, imprint, and then start to pick the hips off the mat, rolling up one bone at a time until you're right at the top of your shoulder blades. When you get to the top, make sure your ribs are melting down to your hips. Make sure you're not pushing your belly out either. So pull the abs in. We're still bracing. Focus on squeezing your glutes. Inhaling, hold. Exhale, soften, roll down. Let's just keep our arms at our side today. Shoulder blades stay against the mat. Roll down through every part of your spine and then find your neutral, your balanced teacup at the bottom. Let's do that again. Imprint. Exhale, rolling up. Hold on your inhale. Exhale, soften and roll down. So this should feel fairly nice because we're articulating the spine. 2 more times. One more time with that 4 breath pattern. As you're rolling down, allow your head to lengthen away. It's just something nice to think about so you don't get tension in your neck and shoulders. So let's go ahead and roll back up into our shoulder bridge. We're going to hold this one up. Focus on squeezing your glutes, melt your ribs down. And we're going to start to do little marches with our feet. You want to resist your hips dropping and also tilting to the side. So feel a lot of work in your glutes, a little bit in your hamstring. We're going to start to make it a little bigger until our legs are coming to tabletop. And then we're going to hold the right leg in tabletop for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Replace the foot. Center your weight. Center your hips. Soften and roll down between sides. Find neutral at the bottom. Take an inhale, exhale, imprint. Roll back up into your bridge. Again, pull the hips together, hip bones together. Melt the ribs down. Keep your hips up by squeezing your glutes. Start to do your little marches again without your hips dropping or tipping. Start to make it a little bigger and slower until eventually our legs are coming up to tabletop. It's when you put your foot down that you want to keep that hip up. We're going to stop with our left leg in tabletop. We're going to hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Replace your foot, center your weight and your hips, and soften and roll down bone by bone. Very nice, everybody. That was a lot of work for our hamstrings. So let's hug the right knee in. You can imprint, and then just take the right leg up to the ceiling, and I want you to straighten your knee as best you can. By a straight knee, we stretch the hamstrings. The hamstrings bend your knee, so if your knee is bent, you're not going to stretch them. So try to get that leg straight. Grab any part, if your knee is bent, you might have to release from your hip a little bit in order to get it straight. Let's just hold that stretch for a moment, circling our foot 4 times each way. And then pointing and flexing the foot for 4. And then we'll point, give that leg an extra pull towards you. Let's place it on the floor, pull the left leg in. Again, you can stay in imprint. We'll stretch the leg up. Give it a nice stretch, make sure your knee is straight. We'll start to circle our foot 4 times each way. Reverse. then we'll point and flex for 4. 3, keep stretching and reaching through the leg. 2, and 1, point the toe, give your leg an extra pull towards you. And then we'll go ahead and release it and place our foot on the ground. Nice job, you guys. Just a nice little stretch for our legs, our feet, our ankles, working all those intrinsic bones and muscles in our feet. So from here, we're gonna bring our feet hip width apart. Bring your hands right behind your head at the base of the skull. And we're gonna do 8 crunches, but instead of being in an imprint, we're gonna stay in neutral. So keep your teacup balanced. And here we go. Exhale, curl up 1, hold it there, make sure your teacup's balanced. You have a little space open between the low back and the mat. Inhale all the way back down. And exhale 2. Inhale down. Exhale 3. Inhale down. So really imagine those hip bones pulling together as you come up, sit bones pulling together as you come up, and keeping that teacup balance. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Now we're going to add a little rolling up and down through the spine. So walking your feet in a little closer towards your body, you're going to imprint, roll up into a shoulder bridge. As you start to lower down, you're going to curl the head and shoulders off the mat. You can find neutral at the bottom, and then we'll imprint as you start to lift your hips, lower the head and shoulders. And just kind of smooth it out. You can exhale to curl the upper body. Inhale to lift into your bridge. 3 more times. So we're working our core and we're getting a nice massage through the spine. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Keep the head and shoulders down and just articulate back down through your spine. This one tends to kind of slide you up, so I'm just going to move down on my mat. And we'll place our hands back behind the head at the base of the skull. We're going to do my little taco exercise. So let's curl up again, just through the head and upper body. You're going to imprint, lift your hips up just enough where you're folding your body in half, like a little taco. Lower the hips down first, and then lower the head and shoulders. So we're going to keep breaking that down. Head and shoulders come up, hips go down, head and shoulders go down. And it's an exhale to curl, inhale to lower. 1 more time. Whew, it's a lot of core work. So now we're going to add a rotation with just the upper body. When you go to lift your hips, you want your hips to stay facing up. You don't want them to tip side to side. So let's go ahead and curl up, rotate towards your right leg. And don't think elbow to knee, instead think chest to the outside of your knee. Try to get both shoulder blades off the mat for more of a challenge. We're going to lift the hips straight up, straight down, and then lower our rotation. Let's do the other side. To the left, hips go straight up, straight down, lower your curl. 1 more each way, right? Hips go up and then down, lower your curl. 1 more to the left. Hips go up and down and lower your curl. Whew, it's a lot of upper ab work and oblique work. So now we're going to hold our hips up. We're going to do little rotations side to side. Make sure when you do them, you're not going like this. You want to actually rotate up towards the outside of the legs with your chest. We want that rotation from our rib cage. All right, so here we go. Exhale, curl up to center, curl the hips up. Stay there. Keep your hips and your legs still and rotate. 8, 7, side, 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 side. 4, 3, 2, 1, and woo, rest. Oh, that was awesome. Let's do it 1 more time. So deep breath in. Exhale, curl up to center, curl those hips up and rotate. 8, 7, they're small. 5, keep your hips and your legs still. 3, 2, 1, and rest all the way down. Let's take a stretch. Reach your legs down to the bottom corners of your mat. Reach your arms through the top corners of your mat. Allow your ribs to flare. Deep breath in. And on your exhale, relax down onto the mat. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach like you're taking a big stretch right when you wake up in the morning. And exhale, relax. 1 more time. Inhale, stretching out. And exhale, relaxing down. We're going to bend our knees, roll to one side, push yourself up to a seated position. We're going to cross the legs, one in front of the other. It doesn't really matter which one because we'll end up switching. We're going to do a little spinal rotation. So stacking one hand on top of the other, shoulders down. If you're, whatever leg's in front, let's have that arm be on top because we'll switch both in a moment. Find the sharpest points of your sits bone and we're going to rotate to our right on our exhale. Inhale, come back to center. And then to your left. Inhaling through center. So again, just like that last exercise, we want our rotation coming from our ribs. Keep your hips anchored to the floor. And just focus on squeezing your spine out like a little sponge. Get a little taller. 1 more time to the left. Come back to center. Now switch which arm is on top. Switch which leg is in front. Nice and tall through the spine again. And let's rotate to the right. Inhale, center. Rotate to the left. Inhale, center. Nice and tall. Equal weight on your sit bones. And again. 1 more time each way. And last one. And rest. Very nice job, you guys. We're going to go ahead and lie down on our right side. You can bend your elbow, rest your head in on your elbow or arm. We're going to bend our bottom knee. Top hand can be in front of you. Take your top leg and reach it out. You want your body kind of in alignment with the front edge of your mat. Create what we call our little mouse house through the bottom waist and the ribs and the mat. So you have like a little space here, just big enough for a little mouse to run through. Really stretch through this leg without your mouse house lifting up more. So just find your hips where they're stacked. You're reaching through your leg without shifting the hips. We're going to point the toe, lift the leg up as high as we can, keep it facing forward. Flex your foot, lower back down, keeping your mouse house the same. Point and lift, 9 more. Flex and lower. It's an exhale to lift it up. Inhale to lower it down. So working the abductors of the hips, you're going to start to feel it right here. 5 more. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1 more. We're going to lift the leg hip width. Keep the foot flexed. Pull your knee into tabletop without collapsing your mouse house. Point the toe, reach it down. Imagine hitting that bullseye. And then you're going to reach it a little stretch back. Anchor down through this leg. Flex the foot, pull the knee to tabletop. Point the toe, reach it down, and a little stretch back. Now when I'm stretching back, I'm staying in parallel today. So I'm not allowing my leg to turn out. You can turn out, it's not wrong. It'll just allow your leg to go back a little farther. When you stay in parallel, you won't get as much range. It's just a little more challenging, I find, to stay in parallel because your leg naturally wants to turn out. Let's do 3 more. Might start to feel some burning in the lower leg and your ankle. 2 more. 1 more. Now all we're going to do is take that leg back so that our whole body's in alignment with the mat. You're pointing your toes. We're going to start to make little circles about as big as a tennis ball with just our leg, resisting any movement in the rest of the body. Keeping your mouse house the same. One more, let's reverse it for another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very nice job, everybody. Bring your top leg down in front. Make a fist. If you're feeling a lot of burning, you can give it a little punch out around this bone, which is called your greater trochanter. And I'll just kind of massage it out a little bit. We're going to bring our top hand back down, keeping your mouse house the same. Extend your bottom leg. Now your top leg, you can keep it here. I'm going to keep mine here today, but another option is to just place your foot on the floor like so with your knee up. So both of those are fine. We're going to take the bottom leg, flex the foot, and I want you to turn your bottom heel so you're kind of turning your leg out, so now your heel's looking up. And we're going to do little lifts up for 10. 9, still keep your mouse house. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to bend both knees, lift our feet, top hand on your hip to make sure your top hip is still stacked over the bottom hip, and 10 clamshells. Open and close. Exhale and inhale. Relax any tension in the side of the neck. Sometimes the neck will start to feel a little tense. And we'll go 3 more. 3, 2, 1. We're going to lower the knee, lower the feet. Just move your bottom hand so that it's at the side of your head and let your hand and head rest on the floor. Top hand is going to come to the other side of the head. We're going to keep our hips here. And we're going to rotate up to the ceiling on your inhale. Resist your hips moving. And then exhale back to center. So get a nice gentle twist through our spine. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more time. We're going to inhale, stay. Bring the top elbow down a little bit. And extend the arm behind you. Let the weight of your arm deepen your stretch. Deep breaths in and out. You're going to cactus the arm, so we're just bending at the elbow. Allow the weight of the arm to continue to stretch your pec and maybe even into your bicep. We're going to bring the hand back to the head, rotate back to center. We're going to take our top leg in front of the bottom leg straight. Release your top arm up to the ceiling, and you're going to rotate behind you. It's okay if the knee comes off the floor. It's also okay if the knee stays on. The back hand can be on or off the floor as well. Deep breaths in and out. On your exhales, feel as though you're squeezing out your spine like a little sponge. We'll go 1 more time in and out. Rotating back to center, you can just pull your arm in. We're going to stack our knees and feet again and push ourselves up onto our left hand. So your hips are stacked, legs are stacked, feet are stacked. Top hand on your shin, we're going to pull both shoulders back. Take an inhale, push your hips forward as you lift the hips off the floor. Exhale, slowly come down. Inhale up, exhale down. So resist plopping on the way down. We have 4 more here. 3 more. Bottom shoulder stays back. Actually, both shoulders do. 2 more. So feel like your shoulder blades are flat against your back. Hold this last one up. Top leg lifts and lowers for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knee, slowly lower the hips. Let's put it together. Lift everything up and back down. 5 more. 5. Press into the knuckles of your bottom hand. 4. And squeeze. 3. Keep pushing the hips forward. 2. And 1. Very nice job. So definitely feel that in the bottom hip as well. Let's go ahead and move our legs to the other side, and we're going to lie down on our right side, resting the head on the elbow. Bottom knee stays bent, top hand in front. Keep your mouse house and reach your top leg out like you're hitting a bullseye with the toes. All right, you guys, we're going to keep the toes pointed, lift the leg up, keeping your leg facing forward. Flex, lower it back down. Remember, you're keeping your mouse house the same as we work from our hip joint. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. 7 more times. 6. 5. So you really start to feel that burn right in the side of the hip, just like the last exercise. 3, 2, 1. We're going to keep the foot flexed, lift the leg hip width, pull the knee to tabletop, keep your mouse house, point the toes, stretch it down like you're hitting that bullseye, and then just reach it back a little bit, anchoring through the bottom leg. Flex, pull it in, exhale, inhale, point, reach it back. Keep that leg hip width apart, don't let it drop. Again, working the abductors of the hips, so we're going to start to feel that big burn right in through here. 4 more. 3 more, keep going, we're almost done. 2 more. And 1 more time. We're going to bring the leg forward, little circles about as big as a tennis ball, 8 each way, and then we'll take a nice stretch. So just breathe through that burn. Keep reaching through your leg. Woo, I feel that burn on this side. Let's reverse it. 8, 7, 6, 5. Remember, no movement in your body. 3, 2, it's getting hard to lift. 1, and bend your knee. Bring your leg forward. Just give it a quick break. And then we're going to stack our legs, lift our feet, 10 clamshells. So we're working a little different muscles in our clamshells. You're working your lateral rotators. So you'll feel it a little more underneath your glute. 5 more, and then we'll take a nice break. 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Lower the knee, lower the feet, bring your knee forward, make a fist, give it a little punch out. This side was tough for me. So sometimes one side is a little, different, feels harder. Might have been because we did the little hip lifts. So that muscle in here was already working a little bit before we started. So you can keep your knee here, or feel free to turn your knee up to the ceiling. No matter what, the bottom leg is going to reach out. Flex the foot, turn your bottom leg out so that the heel looks up to the ceiling. And you're going to squeeze. Keep your mouse house. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Just a little bit of adductor work. Let's bend the knees again, stacking the feet, knees, and hips. Slide your bottom hand to the side of your head, and just let the head and the hand rest on the floor. Top hand comes to the top side of your head. And we're going to rotate up to the ceiling without the hips moving. And then back to center, exhale. Inhale, so resist your hips shifting back, which will pull your top knee back. So no movement in the lower part of our body. One more time, we're going to hold this one and stretch. Take your top arm, pull the elbow down a little bit, and then extend it. So your hand is below your shoulder level. It's okay if your hand doesn't touch the floor. Cactus your arm, just bend the elbow a little bit. Let the weight of your arm pull your pec and bicep into a nice stretch. One more deep breath in and out. We're going to bring the hand back to our head, rotate back to center. Take the top leg in front, bottom leg straight, top arm up, and let's rotate behind us. So you might even feel a little stretch in the hip. It's okay if the knee comes off a little bit. It's also okay if your back hand is not on the floor. Couple deep breaths in and out. Focus on your exhales, feeling like you're squeezing your spine out like a little sponge. One more time. We're going to bring the hand in, rotating back to center. Stack your knees and feet and hips and push yourself up onto the right hand. Your left hand's going to be at your shin. Make sure your shoulders are pulled back. And we're going to press the hips forward and up. Inhale and slowly lower down. Exhale. Let's do that 5 more times. So as you're pushing your hips up, really focus on pushing them forward as well. So we're opening up the hip joint. 2 more. And this one we're going to hold. Top leg lifts and lowers. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come down. Keep pulling this shoulder back. And now let's put it together. Everything lifts, everything lowers. Just keep pushing the hips forward and up and down. 3 more times. And 2. And 1. Very nice job, everybody. We're going to come to a kneeling position. As long as this feels okay for your knees. We're going to take a little stretch for the abductors of the hip, so the outsides of the hip. This will feel really good after what we were just doing. So we're going to take our arms out in front of us, resting our body over our legs. And you're going to start to walk your hands over to your right. As you do that, you're going to shift your hips to the left. Just allow the hips to shift to the outside of the left foot. Relax any gripping in your hips. Try to. You'll feel a nice stretch in the side of the hip that we were just working. We're going to start to walk our hands over to the other side. So as we go to the left with the hands, we're going to shift our hips to the right. Relax any gripping in the hips. Deep breath in and out. Let's do that 1 more time each way. So hands to the right, hips to the left. And then last time, hands to the left, hips to the right. And then coming back to center, let's restack our spine all the way back up against our imaginary wall. And nice and tall through the spine. We're going to have a seat on our mat. Grab the backs of the legs, roll down for another stretch for our hips. So arms out to the side, palms face down, legs together. Bring your feet in towards your body. Let your knees fall to one side, and then we'll rotate our palms up. So the leg that's on the bottom, you're going to take it and cross it over the top knee and allow the weight of your leg to pull your hip into a deeper stretch. 3 deep breaths in and out. And then releasing the bottom leg, bringing the legs through center to the other side. It's okay if your opposite shoulder comes off the floor. Bottom leg, cross it over the top knee. Just allow the weight of the bottom leg to pull the hip into a deeper stretch. You'll feel a stretch into the low spine also. 3 deep breaths in and out. Coming through center. So now we're going to cross the right leg over the left, and you're just going to allow the weight of your leg to draw your knee over. So not as big of a stretch in our low back, more into the hip. One more deep breath in and out. Coming back to center. Uncross the legs. Cross the left leg over the right. And then draw the knees over to your left. Again, more of a stretch into your hip. We're not getting a huge twist in our spine on this one. One more deep breath in and out. And let's uncross as we bring our legs to center. And we're going to roll all the way onto our stomach for one extension exercise today. Bring your arms to your side, turning your head and resting your cheek to one side. We can turn the legs out, lengthen your tailbone to your heels. What will happen is you'll feel like you're pressing your pelvis into the floor or your mat. We're going to start to lift the chest, turning the head to center. Pull the shoulder blades back, lift the arms, thumbs face down. Pull the belly up, make sure you're not pushing out, and we'll lift the legs off the floor. On your next exhale, lower everything down, turning your head to the other side. Let's do that again. We'll put it together. Lengthen the tailbone, and inhale, lift everything up. Remember, your belly is pulling up, not pushing out. And exhale, lower, turning your head to the other side. We're going to do this 4 more times using your own breath. Here we go together. Go ahead and finish your last one, taking your time. And then we'll bring our hands underneath our chest or shoulders and push ourselves back into a shell stretch. You can choose to have your knees open or together, whatever feels better for your body today. And we're going to rest all the way down, resting the top part of the forehead on the floor. Arms at your side, shoulders relaxed and heavy. And let's take 3 deep breaths in and shell stretch to counteract our extension. On your next inhale, start to restack your spine all the way back up into that seated kneeling position, nice and tall through the spine. And we're going to bring our arms out in front into a quadruped position, opening the knees hip width, feet hip width apart. We're going to go ahead and start to take one arm up at a time, and as you do this, I want you to resist any shifting in your hips. Inhale up, exhale down. Four more. And on whatever arm you didn't start on. And then we're going to take the right arm and left leg and reach them up at the same time. Find a balance. Left shoulder down, right shoulder down. Hips parallel to the floor. 3, 2, 1. Gently place your hand and your knee back down. Without shifting your hips side to side, let's do the other side. Left arm and right leg lifts up at the same time. Find your balance. Hips parallel to the floor, both shoulders down. Press into the knuckles of the right hand. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Gently bring the hand and the knee down. Try not to shift your hips side to side as you transfer your weight back to both knees. Let's do the same thing. We're going to add little lifts. So right arm, left leg, and then start to do little lifts up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. Gently bring the hand and the knee down as you transfer weight into both knees. No shifting in your hips. One more time on the other side. Left arm, right leg lifts. And reach up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And gently bring the hand and the knee back down. We're going to walk our hands out about 1 foot, 12 inches. And as you do that, keep the shoulders down. And then we're going to bring our hips forward, crossing the ankles, lifting our feet. So we're in a low lever plank on our knees. You want that long line from the crown of your head to your knees. Make sure your back's not rounded. Make sure your hips aren't sinking forward like that. Engage through your core. Now we're going to go ahead and do a couple push-ups. Let's do 6 of them today. When you do your push-up, you want your elbows to look slightly back. So it's kind of halfway between to the side and at the side of your body. 3 more times. 2, 1. Uncross the legs. We're going to sit back, knees apart, feet together into a nice flat back child's pose. Couple deep breaths in and out here. Come back into that 4-point quadruped position, and we're going to bring our right foot forward, coming into a lunge stretch for the left hip. Come up onto your fingertips, lift your heart up. If your balance feels okay this morning or today, go ahead and bring your hand onto your knee. Keep your abs pulled up so that you lengthen through the low back. You deepen that stretch through the right hip. Take the your left hip. Take the left arm high. Little extension if you feel comfortable with that. Arm comes down as you draw the ribs down. We're going to rotate to our back leg. Semicircle up. Bring your hand to the outside of your right knee. Reach the right arm forward. Rotate away. Reach forward. Bringing your hands back onto the mat. We're going to bring our right hand to the inside of the right foot and allow the right knee to fall out to the side. So you're coming onto the side of your right foot. And you're going to feel that nice stretch in the hips, right where we were working for our side lying series today. A couple deep breaths in and out. For those of you who want a deeper stretch, feel free to come down to your forearms. Slowly start to bring your hands back onto the mat if you were on your forearms and rotate your knee back to center, bringing your right hand to the outside of the leg. We're going to extend our front leg, and I want you to pull it back just a little bit so your hips are square. So that right hip's going to want to reach forward, so just pull it back a little bit. We're going to think about straightening our spine, lifting the sit bones, so you feel that deep stretch through the back of your hamstring. Relax the foot. And put the foot back down. We're going to slide that leg back and step our left foot forward into our hip flexor stretch on the right. Come up onto the fingertips, lift the heart up. If your balance feels okay today, bring your hands up to your knee. If not, just keep your hands on the floor and continue to hold your hip flexor stretch. We're going to take the right arm high, add a gentle back bend if you want. Melt the ribs down, bring the arm forward, rotate towards your back leg. Semicircle up, hand to the outside of your left leg, left arm forward, rotate away. Big circle up, bringing those hands back onto the mat. Left hand to the inside of the left foot, let your left knee rotate to the side, come onto the side of your foot. And of course, for those of you who may want a deeper stretch, feel free to come onto your forearms. So you feel both the stretch, not only here, where we were working our sideline series, but also continuing to stretch the right hip flexor. Gently bring your hands up if you were on your forearms, and we're going to rotate our knee back to center, bringing our left hand to the outside of the left foot. Let's extend our front leg. So our left leg, slide it back a little bit. It's coming from here, so you want to make sure that hip is back, nice and tall through the spine. And then we're going to flex our foot. And then bring the toes back down again. Slide that leg back and come to a seated cross-legged position on your mat. Excellent class, everybody. Let's end with a couple side bends. So we'll take the right arm up and over. It always feels good coming back to center and left arm. And coming back up one more time each way. And last one. And coming back to center. Well, thank you so much for joining class today. Dakota was pretty good today. So she was just hanging out. Whoops, sorry. She was just hanging out with us today. So hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. And yeah, have a great day.